Shalom, everybody. And let me see. Let me get some stuff up real quick. Wait for a couple of people to join. Some people asked me to do this live, so wait for them to show up real quick. But other than that, hope everything is going well with everyone. So just give me a second. 1 second. I'll pull this up real quick. Just give me 1 second. You guys got to excuse my phone going all the way back. So let me find out where this is real quick while people are going to be joining, and excuse the notifications. Let me see here. Where is this at? 137. Gee, I wish I knew how to do this. Quick drag, whatever. So I'll go straight to the page. But let me see here. Let me see if I can do it here. 137. I'm going to that page. Well, let's see here. Enoch's Vision. Here we go. Here we go, right here. So this is the prophecy of the 10 weeks, and this deals with basically the end times. This deals with basically things leading up to what we would call, well, basically the time of events from Enoch's time, and basically up until the last point. And this is going to cover what we actually see today as well. So let me see. No, you're going to make me call you government. No ETT. Not doing any debates today. Sorry. But yeah. Hey, I got a question for you, ETT. Why is it that you don't subscribe to the Book of Enoch, but they say it alludes to basically UFOs? I thought you would be very interested in the Book of Enoch, since that's one of your core beliefs. But anyway, I don't personally think it alludes to UFOs or anything like that, but to each his own, right? To each his own. So let me get to sharing this screen here so we can see. No, it doesn't subscribe to the Book of Enoch, Jamie. He told me so in your Discord. So this here is a chart here, and this was basically a part of the translator's notes here. So we're going to read some of this, and let me jump in. Let me bring this up on my phone real quick, just so I could see, because I can't see anything on my screen when I share. So just in case I'm breaking up or something, I could move or whatever, readjust my position or something. So let me just bring this up real quick. You might hear echo, so readjust my position. All right. Turn this all the way down. And again, I don't expect too many people to join this live. In fact, after my last live, I lost a sub, which doesn't really matter to me. It really doesn't matter to me. But for those that want to know some certain things, but So in this, it says these are the notes. This is the prophecy of the 10 weeks. So this is talking about, as you see, the first week, justice and righteousness. And then you got this timeline. And then they add this ice age and stuff in there. But I don't know. In fact, the book of Jasher, is very interesting when it talks about Enoch being at the ends of the earth. And he said that Enoch was in a snowy desert place where there was no birds or anything like that. And it kind of sounds like Enoch was in Antarctica somewhere. But that's just something I speculated on reading that part in there. I might bring that up one day, how it happened with Enoch being taken up and, stuff like that. But anyway. So here it says, here in 93:2, which is, I believe, page 93, verse 2, or something to that effect, Enoch states that the source of the prophecy of the watchers and the source of the prophecy is the watchers and the tablets of heaven. The dates I have given are obviously very approximate up until Moses, but it does seem reasonable that there would be a very long time between Noah and Abraham. So that's clear right there. So I'm bringing up this chart just to show what it says here. So it says the first week, it's mentioned in 93:3, justice and righteousness. Then they put here ice age over 16,000 BC, and this is around Enoch's time. This is just what the guy put, so I'm gonna read it. So the second week, great injustice, and this is talking about the Genesis 6 account when the watchers are, the sons of God came down, made it with the women, and all that nice stuff that we read in our Bible there. So 16,000 to 10,000 BC, Noah's time, the first end, which was the flood. Okay, so this, is very understandable when you read most of the stuff. So the third week, the plant of righteousness, and this is talking about Abraham. So it was 10,000 to 2,000. I don't agree with these timelines, by the way. I don't think anybody knows what years that this stuff was occurring. And according to the Hebrew calendar, the earth's not more than 6,000 years old. So that's another reason why I don't agree with the timelines. So this talks about Abraham's time, the third week. Then the fourth week, law for all generations. This is talking about Moses and the Exodus, 2,000 to 14,000, 2,000 to 1,400 BC. Fifth week, House of Glory is talk about Solomon building the temple, 1,400 to 900 BC. Sixth week, man ascends. This is talking about Christ here. And then it says 900 BC to 100 AD, house, temple burnt, chosen people scattered. Okay, so that's right after 70 AD when Rome sacked or basically destroyed the temple and they were scattered. Clear understand when we read this in correlation with the Bible. So the seventh week, right? Seventh week, I would say, is basically the current week we're in according to what's taking place. And it says here, apostate generation, right? 100 AD and the question mark of how long that is. So many deeds. This is talking about this, the second end, the judgment of fire. which we read in Malachi and all the old prophets, and even in the New Testament, I believe. So then it talks about the 8th week, sword, future, righteousness, new house, new heaven, new earth, Revelation 21. 9th week, the righteous judgment is revealed. I believe this alludes to Revelation 20. And then it talks about all the powers of heaven shine forever. This is exactly what it says in Daniel. So just to give you guys a quick little outline of the things that we're going to be talking about today. And you go and find most of this stuff in your Bible. And again, do not get this Enoch mixed up with the other Enoch who the Kabbalistic Jews say was transformed into Metatron. Okay. It comes from the Talmud and it's not really what it says. So this is Enoch talking to his son, Methuselah. As we read in Genesis chapter 5, you go through that whole bloodline like I did in my last live about this. And give me 1 second. Let me see here. Let me see. Not that one. Not that one. Is it this one? Nope, that's the one that put me down there. Is it this one? Nope. Okay, where is it? Let me see. Oh, there we go. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm about to go grab some water real quick. And I'm going to mute my mic real quick. All right. I had to go grab me a cup of water real quick. So let me move that over here just in case I accidentally bumped it or something. All right. So getting into this here. Let's see. All right. So it says here, now my son Methuselah called me all your brothers and gather to me all the children of your mother, for a voice calls me and the spirit has been poured over me so that I may show you everything that will come upon you forever. And hello to everybody that's joining. Hello, Diane. And I got to look at my phone from here and there because I know I don't address the chat as much. So hello to everybody that's going to be joining. I'm going to try and go through this real quick. And then we're going to move on to this next part where we can clearly see what is going to be, what we see today happening. And this is why I say there's prophecies in the book of Enoch pertaining to our time, but people say that, it's not canonical or it's not inspired. But again, let's see. And after this, Methuselah went and called his brothers to him and gathered his relations. And he spoke about righteousness to all his sons and said, hear, my children, all the words of your father, and listen properly to the voice of my mouth, for I will testify and speak to you, my beloved. Love uprightness, and walk in it. Kind of like what we hear in the Bible as well. And do not draw near to uprightness with a double heart, and do not associate with those of a double heart, but walk in righteousness, my children, and it will lead you in good paths, and righteousness will be your companion. So it says here, for I know that the state of wrongdoing will continue on earth, and a great punishment will be carried out on the earth. Talk about the flood, I believe. And an end will be made of all iniquity, and it will be cut off from its roots, and its whole edifice will pass away. And iniquity will again be completed in the earth. And all the deeds of iniquity and the deeds of wrongdoing and of wickedness will prevail for a second time. So it's talking about after the flood, which we see in the Bible happening after the flood wiped out the whole earth, except for Noah and his children and their wives and the animals that went on the ark. There was again another, time of wickedness and stuff like that. So this says, written by Enoch the scribe, this complete wisdom and teaching, praised by all men and a judge of the whole earth, for all my sons who dwell on earth, for the last generations who will practice justice and peace. And it says here, let not your spirit be saddened by the times of the holy and great one, for the holy and great one appointed days for all things. We hear that in Ecclesiastics. And the righteous man will arise from sleep and will arise and will walk in paths of righteousness, and all his paths and his journeys will be in eternal goodness and mercy. He will show mercy unto mercy to the righteous man, and will give, and to him give eternal uprightness, and him give power, and to him give power, and he will live in goodness and righteousness, and will walk in the eternal light, and sin will be destroyed in darkness forever from that day, and from that day will never be seen again. And after this, Enoch began to speak from the books. So up here, he's talking about basically the judgment portion. After all that is just a brief summary. But then Enoch goes into the books, and he talks about the time frame, the time periods, which I just got through reading up there in the chart. So he says, and Enoch said, concerning the sons of righteousness, and concerning the chosen of the world, concerning the plant of righteousness and uprightness, I will speak these things to you, and make them known to you, my children. Enoch, according to that which appeared to me in the heavenly vision, and that which I know from the words of the holy angels. He's talking about Gabriel and the four archangels we see in the Bible. Basically, Enoch was taken. Basically, he was showed in numerous visions, stuff. So I will cover that another time, but that's another topic. This is about talking about the end times and Enoch, and understanding them, and understanding from the tablets of heaven. And Enoch then began to speak from the books and said, I was born the 7th in the first week. So we get this in Jude. Enoch was 7th from Adam. That's the thumbnail I got up. So I was born the 7th in the first week, while justice and righteousness still lasted. After me, the second week, great injustice will arise, and deceit will have sprung up, and in it there will be the first. After it has ended, iniquity will grow, and he will make a law for the sinners. So this is talking about basically Abraham after that. And after this, in the third week, at its end, a man will be chosen as the plant of righteous judgment, and after him will come the plant of righteousness forever. And after this, in the fourth week, at its end, visions of the righteous and holy will be seen, and a law for all generations, and an enclosure will be made for them. Let's talk about Solomon, and the law for all generations is talking about Moses before Solomon. After this, in the 5th week, at its end, the house of glory and sovereignty will be built forever. This is talking about Solomon's time. And after this, the 6th week, all those who live in it will be blinded, and the hearts of all of them lacking wisdom will sink into impiety. And in it, a man will sin, and at its end, the house of sovereignty will be burnt with fire. So it's talking about it's talking about Christ arising, and basically the house burnt with fire. It's talking about the part up there where I read with the scattering right here, and in it, the whole race of the chosen root will be scattered. Let's talk about that time period in that chart. Let me see here. After this, in the 7th week, an apostate generation will arise, and many will be its deeds, and all its deeds will be apostasy. Sorry. And at its end, the chosen righteous from the eternal plan of righteousness will be chosen, and to whom will be given 7-fold teaching concerning his whole creation. I believe that's talk about this here. Oh, I forget. I'll have to go back. Let me see how my connection is doing, because I see my connection is going in and out. Let me see. All right, so I sound fine. So, and it says, and when iniquity and sin and blasphemy and wrong and all kinds of evil deeds increase, and when apostasy, wickedness, and uncleanness increase, a great punishment will come from heaven upon all these. And the Holy Lord will come in anger and in wrath to execute judgment on the earth. We understand that to be the consummation, right? And in those days, wrongdoing will be cut off from its roots, and the roots of iniquity, together with deceit, will be destroyed from under heaven. And all the idols of the nations will be given up. Their towers will be burnt with fire, and they will remove them from the whole earth, and they will be thrown down into the judgment of fire. Talk about Revelation 20, and it will be destroyed in anger and in the severe judgment that is forever. And the righteous will arise from sleep, and wisdom will rise and will be given to them. This is talking about Daniel. I would jump back and forth into the thing, but I think I've done a video or a live on that already. Excuse me real quick. Let me drink some water. I think I've done a live on that already. Talking about this whole thing right here and how it ties in with Dan. Let me just do that real quick, just in case I haven't done it. Let me stop sharing this real quick. We're going to come back to that part. Well, we're going to go to Daniel 12 real quick. Let me bring that up. Let's go into Daniel 12 real quick. Daniel 12. All right. So in Daniel 12, we see the same thing being mentioned here. Let me see. This is going to, all right. So it's up. All right. So let's look at Daniel 12 real quick. We're going to blow through this. It's a real short chapter. I'm just going to read most of this and go back to that part where I was just reading it. So in Daniel 12 says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince was standing for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. Let me blow this up so you guys can see it. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And many of them, this is the part right here, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. This is part of what it's saying in Enoch. This is talking about that sevenfold, what the I believe that part where it says is that the heavens will shine sevenfold light, and they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. And again, I would go into the firmament, but that's something for a whole totally different topic. And they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. But thou, O Daniel, shut the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood other two, one on this side of the bank of the river, and the other on that side of the bank of the river. And one said unto the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the rivers, how long shall it be till the end of these wonders? And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swear by him that lived forever, that it shall be for a time, times and a half, and when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, these things shall be finished. And I heard, but I understood not. Then said I, O my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? And he said, go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed to the time of the end. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. And from that time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days. Blessed is he that waiteth and come to the 1,305 and 30 days. But go thy way, till the end be, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy light at the end of days. So this is just a complete little reference there. So back to the book of Enoch here. Back to the book of Enoch. So it says right here, and the righteous will arise from sleep. This is exactly what Daniel was just talking about. And wisdom will arise, part of Daniel as well, and will be given to them. And after this, the roots of iniquity will be cut off, and the sword will destroy the sinners. The blasphemers will be cut off in every place. Blasphemy will be destroyed by the sword. And then it goes into this. It says, after this, there will be another week, the 8th week, that of righteousness, and a sword will be given to it, so that the righteous judgment may be executed on those who do wrong, and the sinners will be handed over into the hands of the righteous. And at its end, they will acquire the house. They will acquire houses because of their righteousness, and a house will be built for the great king in glory forever. I believe this is talking about New Jerusalem right here. And after this, in the 9th week, the righteous judgment will be revealed to the whole world, and all the deeds of the impious will vanish from the whole earth, and the world will be written down for destruction, and all men will look to the path of uprightness. And after this, in the 10th week, in the 7th part, there will be an eternal judgment that will be executed on the watchers, and the great eternal heaven that will spring up from the midst of the angels. And the first heaven will vanish and pass away. So let's go. Let me bring this up too, because again, this, like I said, Enoch has prophecies of the end times. So where do we hear this part right here? Let me see if I could highlight it real quick. Where do we hear this part right here in the Bible? Revelation 21, right? Let me just bring this up real quick. Give me a second, because I want to make sure I'm comparing what the Bible says to what this is talking about as well. Because a lot of people say, so many things about this book, and they don't even read it and compare scripture. Let's see here. Let me stop sharing this real quick, and I'm going to go into this. Let me see. Stop sharing that. Let's bring this up real quick. All right. So Revelation 21. This is the same language here. Ooh, well, I got Revelation 2. I thought I put 1. All right. So right here it says, right here, we're just gonna read this verse right here. This is what we're gonna read, these 2 verses right here, because this is what Enoch is basically talking about before John even saw it, right? Enoch came before John, Enoch came before Jude, and most of the apostles. So, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. We're just going to stop right there. I'm going to try and keep this as short as possible. So back to Enoch here. Well, I got Jamie highlighted. All right. Back to Enoch. Let's see here. Back to Enoch. And again, let me know if my connection is acting up, and I'll try and move around somewhere. So it says, and the first heaven will vanish and pass away, and a new heaven will appear, and all the powers of heaven will shine forever with sevenfold light. And after this, there will be many weeks without number forever, in goodness and in righteousness. And from then on, sin will never be again mentioned. Now I tell you, my children, and show you the paths of righteousness and the path of wrongdoing. And I will show you again, so that you may know what is to come. And now listen, my children, walk in the paths of righteousness, and do not walk in the paths of wrongdoing. For all those who walk in the path of iniquity will be destroyed forever. For is there any man who can hear the voice of the Holy One and not be disturbed? And who is there that can think his thoughts? And who is there who can look at all the works of heaven? And how should there be anyone who could understand the works of heaven, and see a soul or a spirit and tell about it, or ascend and see all their ends and comprehend them, or make anything like them? And is there any man who could know? This is, this part right here, this part, I tell you, this is why I say, this part right here is what Job talked about a lot right here. This is what Job talked about a lot. And I'm going to go there real quick after this. After I read this, I'm going to go to Job and see what Job says. A little bit of Job. And is there any man who could know the length and breadth of the earth? And to who has its measurements been shown? Let's just sit right here real quick. I'm going to stop sharing this real quick. We're going to go into the book of Job real quick. Because again, it's so much stuff that is in this book right here that you can find even mentioned in the Bible. Job. Let's see, Job. Job 38. This is in Job 38. This is the same thing that, God was asking Job. Let's see here. Job 38. All right, let's see here. All right, so just keeping that in mind, this is Job 38. All right. So it says right here, we're going to read like six of these. I'm going to read like 6 of these verses. And the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, who is this that darkeneth my counsel by words without knowledge? Gird up thy loins like a man, for I will demand of thee, and answer thou me. Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare if thou hast understanding. Or who have laid the measurements thereof, if thou knowest, or who have stretched the line upon it? Right? So we're going to stop right there. Right? Talking about the measurements of the earth and how the measurements were. And this is what we see here in Enoch right here, highlighted. Again, is there any man who could know the length and breadth of the earth? So apparently knowing this creation account is very, it is, to me, it's not a salvation issue, but it is important to know, or else they wouldn't mention it. God wouldn't be asking Job about it. Or is there any man who can know the length of heaven and what its height is, what is its height, and on what it is fixed? This word fixed, right? Talking about the pillars, right? And how large the number of stars, and where do all the lights rest, right? Everybody should know that the sun rises in the east and it sets in the west. All right, so this is Enoch's Book of Guidance here, message of guidance. Let me see if this is the one that I want to read. This is talking about, all right, so this is in my book, in my hard copy, this is talking about the woes for the sinners. I believe it is the final message that I'm looking for. Yeah, it's the final message. This is just talking about the woes for the sinners. It basically goes through a list of all the sins here, talks about it, and it says what the punishment is for, commit such things and stuff like that. Talks about the rich, which the Bible talks about liars, which the Bible talks about a whole number of things in this. Let me see. Yeah, this is the woes for the sinners. I don't want that. I kind of want to stay focused on this end time thing here. You guys got to excuse me. I got to scroll through this. And okay, so. Let me see. Yeah, it's not in here. It's send this final message, and then I'll probably jump off after this. Try and keep this under an hour. Oh, yeah. Let me just read this part here. Let me see, because this is something that we all see somebody doing, right? I'm not going to name no names, but when I read it, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. As a matter of fact, we'll name that name. This is something Perry does a lot, right? So let's read this part right here. And then you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so it says, for you sinners say, none of our sins will be inquired into and written down, but they will write down your sins every day. And now I show you that light and darkness, day and night, see all your sins. Do not be impious in your hearts, and do not lie, and do not alter the words of truth. So this is what Perry does right here. Nor say that the words of the holy and great one are lies, and do not praise your idols. For all your lies and your impiety lead not to righteousness, but to great sin. And now I know the mystery that many sinners will alter and distort the words of truth and speak evil words and lies and concoct great fabrications and write books in their own words. And it talks about all this other stuff. Let me see. That I just wanted to point that out because I found that very, very, very interesting here. Let me see. Here it is. Enoch's concluding words. So I'm going to read this and you'll see exactly. Yeah. I don't see where I'm having any bad connection. Everybody else saying that I'm not. So I don't know. I'm listening in and I don't hear anything breaking up on my end. So I don't know. I'm listening in. So I sound perfectly fine. Maybe check your connection at ETT. So it says right here, another book which Enoch wrote for his son Methuselah and for those who should come after him. Oh, man. Oh, man, I'm sorry. I got to read this because, man, this right here is just a nail in the coffin of so many people's doctrine, right? Because even in the Bible, it talks about this, right? Another book which Enoch wrote for his son Methuselah and for those who should come after him and keep the law in the last days. Oh, man, that law word, that's that kryptonite for most people. That's kryptonite for most people, that L word there. Because Enoch says that there's going to be people keeping the law in the last days. I wonder why he says that. And not the law of sacrifices and all that other stuff. Talking about the moral standards. You know, the ones that people say are done away with. All right. So it says here, you who have observed and are waiting in these days until an end shall be made of those who do evil, and at the end, and an end shall be made of the power of the wrongdoers. Do indeed wait until sin shall pass away, for their names shall be erased from the books of the holy ones, and their offspring will be destroyed forever. This is talking about that book of life, that Revelation 22:18-19, right? And their offspring will be destroyed forever, and their spirits will be killed. Talking about them getting cast in the lake of fire, excuse me. And they will cry out and moan in a chaotic desert place and will burn with fire, for there is no earth there. So again, ETT, how is it that I got a question for you. According to Enoch, if you're still in here, ETT, I got a question. According to this verse here in Enoch, right here, according to this, how is it that you guys believe that hell is going to be on earth? But this verse right here says, and their spirits will be killed, and they will cry out and moan in a chaotic desert place and will burn with fire, for there is no earth there. But you guys, you say that hell is earth. Okay, this, I don't get it. And there I saw something like a cloud, which could not be discerned, for because of its depth, I was not able to look into it. And the flames of a fire I saw burning brightly, and things like bright mountains revolved and shook from side to side. And I asked one of the holy angels who was with me, and I said to him, what is this place? For there is no sky, but only the flames of a burning fire and the sounds of crying and weeping and moaning and severe pain. What does this sound like? And he said to me, this place which you see, here will be thrown the spirits of the sinners and of the blasphemers and of those who do evil. Talks about this right here. Sounds like hell to me. And those who alter everything the Lord hath spoken through the mouth of the prophets about the things that shall be done. For there are books and records about them in heaven above, so that the angels may read them and know what is about to come upon the sinners and upon the spirits of the humble and of those who afflicted their bodies and were recompensed by God, and of those who were abused by evil men. Those who love God and did not love gold or silver or any possessions, but gave up their bodies to torment. This is talking about, this is alluding to that day of, excuse me. If anybody knows about the Day of Atonement, where it talks about afflict ye your souls and stuff like that. Again, those who from the moment they existed did not desire earthly food, but counted themselves as a breath which passes away, and kept to this. And the Lord tested them much, and their spirits were found pure, so that they might bless his name. And all their blessings I have counted in the books, and he has assigned them their reward, for they were found to be such that they loved heaven more than their life in the world. And this goes into what John was talking about, right? Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. For the love of the Father is not, for those who love the world, the love of the Father is not in them. So that's what we read in our Bibles as well. So it's a lot of scripture that you could compare with this. And although they were trampled underfoot by evil men and had to listen to reviling reproach from them and were abused, yet they blessed their Lord. And the Lord said, and now I will call the spirits of good who are of the generation of light, and will transform those who were born in darkness, who in the flesh were not recompensed with honor as was fitting to their faith. So this is talking about what is that? 1 Thessalonians 4, somewhere in there. We shall not all sleep, but in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, we shall be changed. That verse there. And I will bring out into the shining light those who love my holy name, and I will set each one on their throne of his honor. And they will shine for times without number, like Daniel said, for righteous is the judgment of God. For with the faithful, he will keep faith in the dwelling of upright paths. And they will see those who were born in darkness thrown into the darkness, while the righteous shine. And the sinners will cry out as they see them shining, and they themselves will go where days and times are written down for them. Wait a minute. Where's that one I was looking for? That wasn't it. Let me go up real quick. I think it was up here. Let me see. Because this is kind of different from in my book. So let me see here. Let me see here. I think it's up a little bit. Let me see here. Because this is something that I want to read, something that we currently see happening in all. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. I probably got to read some. Let me see. Yeah, it's probably in here. Oh, there you go. Wait a minute. Again, in Enoch, it mentions Sheol, and that is in the Bible the Hebrew word for hell, or whatever. This is also what I was bringing up one time when I said that. Let me just read it, because this talks about this when people read that story about the rich man and Lazarus, right? When people read that story, they're both in the same place, but in different locations within that place. So let me just see if I could. Oh, look, Enoch's talking about, let me just read this real quick. Let me see. I'm going to read this real quick. Let me see where it starts. This is kind of long. That's why I didn't want to read it, but there's something in here that I wanted to read. Let me see. Talks something more or less about when Enoch says, what did he say? He said, For I know that in those days we'll put on more adornments than let me see if I can find that. Give me a second. Boom, 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 boom. Give me 1 second. I gotta go grab my book. Hold on. My bad. I forgot to mute my mic anyway, but I don't want all that door closing in here. But let me see. I gotta find out what chapter or what page that's in. Let me see. Sent 106. Sent 106. Let me find 106 real quick. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, let me see. 106, 106. This one is kind of off. Oh, let me see. Because my book got it in order from what he was talking about. Let me see. Yeah, and this also talks about Christ here too. That's why I wanted to read it. Let me see. So 104, 105. I gotta look for 105, 106. Well, 105 and 106. So let me see here. Let me see. 105, 106. All right. Let me see here. I'll find these chapters here. Okay, 105 and 106. Where is that? 105 and 106. Okay, so it is in order. All right, so let's see. 105. Let's go to 105. I bypassed all this because it's all under. It's not. Excuse me. It's not even. It don't even give you, like in my book. It talk about. It gives the titles and stuff, but this don't. And you see how they got it numbered, right? So it's like you not reading the whole chapter. You got 104, but in the middle of a page, it'll have like 103:15, and then it'll go straight to 104. So I gotta look for 105 here. Just give me a second. Had to mute real quick because motorcycle was riding by and I was drinking, so I had to drink me some water real quick. So give me a second. 105. It's right down here somewhere. 105. All right. So let me see in my book real quick. where I want to start, because this also, because all right, 105. We'll start at 105 and we'll go down to 106. 106 is where I wanted to read that part from too. So let's see, 105. Start right here. I thought this was the end because this is what it says in the for my book. This is, yeah, it's kind of close to the end. But anyway, this part right here, this part talks about basically God and his son coming down or whatever, and talking about this part. And in those days, says the Lord, shall I call and testify to the sons of the earth about the wisdom in them. Show it to them, for you are their leaders, and the rewards will be over all the earth. Here we go. For my son and I will join ourselves to them with them forever in the paths of uprightness during their lives, and you will have peace. Rejoice, you sons of uprightness. Amen. Let's see, 106. 106. I bypassed 106. So let me see. Wait a minute. Where's 106? That's why. That's why I'm thrown off. It just goes from 105 down to 108. I don't know why it does that. I need to find 106. I read this all. It's a fragment of Noah. Yeah, 106 is in the fragment. Let me find it. Oh, goodness. I wish they would number this right in here. Let me see. All right, let me go up. I think 106 is in the fragment of Noah here. Let me see. I'm so sorry. I got to jump back up here. Prophecy of the 10 weeks. This is 90. Where's 106? Because if I can't find 106 here, then I'm going to have to read it out my hard copy. Let me see. It's kind of tedious doing this, but I got to look at the numbers because they don't have 106. They just jump from 105 all the way down to 108. And after this, I'll jump off. I got to go in like 7 minutes or so. Hopefully I can find it though. Okay, so that's talking about that. Let's give them the breakdown of that. Where's 106? Gee, let me go back up. Do this a little bit quicker because this is kind of tedious. 60. Oh, see. Let me see here. 60. All right, I might have to read this out of my hard copy. I don't know why they got so much of that missing. 106. It's probably in here in the third parable or something. I don't know. Let's see. Want to see where 106 is. Second parable. See? You see how it look? This is why I got to scroll all the way up. So right here, you got 37. You got 37.1 right here. And then you go up, right? You go up and it goes right back into the 68. So I got to find those 6. I'm sorry. Just so you guys can see that while I'm trying to find this. And it's not in the right place. Because in my hard copy, it got it all listed out, all laid out correctly. But here we go. Here we go. 106. All right. Found it. All right. So this is in the Book of Methuselah. I gotta remember this for when I do another study. All right, so this is talking about Noah here. This is the prophecy. This is a fragment of Noah. This is talking about, this is Enoch, I believe, telling Methuselah that his son Lamech is going to have a child, and this is Noah, which is kind of off topic. Well, it's not off topic because this talks about the first end. The end where the flood was. And this is Enoch talking about it before it even happened, which we don't even have in our Bible. We just got Enoch was and was not, for he was taken, for God took him, or whatever. So I'm gonna read this. And after those days, my son Methuselah chose a wife. And after those days, my son Methuselah chose a wife for his son Lamech, and she became pregnant by him and bore a son. His body was white like snow, and red like the flower of a rose, and the hair of his head was white like wool, and his eyes were beautiful. And when he opened his eyes, he made the whole house bright like the sun, so that the whole house was exceptionally bright. And when he was taken from the hand of the midwife, he opened his mouth and spoke to the Lord of righteousness. And his father Lamech was afraid of him and fled and went to his father Methuselah and said to him, I've begotten a strange son. He is not like a man, but is like the children of the angels of heaven, of a different type, and not like us. And his eyes were like the rays of the sun, and his face glorious. So this is basically similes they're using, comparison to what he looked like, or what his appearance was like. His eyes were like rays of the sun, and his face glorious. And it seemed to me that he is not sprung from me, but from the angels. And I'm afraid that something extraordinary may be done in the earth in his days. And now, my father, I am entreating you and petitioning you to go to our father Enoch and learn from him the truth, for his dwelling is with the angels. And when Methuselah heard the words of his son, he came to me at the ends of the earth. So the ends of the earth, this is why I say I believe Enoch was in Antarctica somewhere. And why they don't let people go down there is because it is speculated that the firmament could be found there, even by scientists. And there's many videos where people done stuff from McMurdo base down in Antarctica, where they got all the science, the scientific research going on down there, and they got military bases, and they basically cut off people from actually going down there and exploring on their own. So that's another thing right there. So the ends of the earth, for he had heard that I was there, and he cried out, and I heard his voice and went to him. And this is also speculated in the book of Jasher, I believe. And I said to him, behold, I am here, my son, for you have come to me. And he answered me and said, because of a great matter I have come to you, and because of a disturbing vision I have come near. And now hear me. So he says, for a child has been born to my son Lamech, whose form and type are not like the type of a man. His color is whiter than snow and redder than the flower of a rose, and the hair of his head were white like wool, and his eyes were like the rays of the sun. And when he opened his eyes, he made the whole house bright. And when he was taken from the hand of the midwife and opened his mouth and blessed the Lord of heaven. And his father Lamech was afraid and fled to me. And he does not believe he is sprung from him, but, excuse me, he do not believe he is sprung from him, but thinks him to be from the angels of heaven. And so it gets on into this. All right. So the part of where I want to read is coming up. And behold, I've come to you so that you may make known to me the truth. So this is Enoch about to tell him this is Noah. And I, Enoch, answered and said to him, the Lord will do new things on the earth. And this I have already seen in a vision and made known to you. For in the generation of my father Jared, so again, Genesis 5 says that Jared is this, Enoch is the son of Jared. So that's in Genesis 5. I read that last time. Some from the height of heaven have transgressed the word of the Lord. This is talking about Genesis 6. And behold, they commit sin and transgress the law and have been promiscuous with women and commit sin with them and have married some of them and begotten children by them. This is talking about Genesis 6, which is also alluded into the first part of this book. And there will be great destruction over the whole earth, and there will be a deluge, a flood, and there will be great destruction for 1 year. But this child who has been born to you will be left on earth, talk about Noah, and his 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, will be saved with him. And when all the men who are on the earth die, he and his sons will be saved, and they will beget on the earth giants. This is talking about, hold on, this is talking about Genesis, not of spirit, but of flesh, and there will be a great wrath on earth. So this goes into Numbers. This goes into Numbers 13 when with King Og and all his brothers and stuff like that. And the earth will be cleansed of all corruption. And now make known to your son Lamech that the one who has been born is truly his son, and call his name Noah, for he will be a remnant for you, and he and his sons will be saved from the destruction which is coming on the earth, because all the sin and all the iniquity which will be committed on the earth in his days. So this is talking about when the giants were on the earth. But after this, there will be yet greater iniquity. So it's talking about after the flood, there will be greater iniquity than that which was committed on the earth before. For I know the mysteries of the holy ones, for the Lord showed them to me and made them known to me, and I read them in the tablets of heaven. And I saw written on them that generation upon generation will do wrong, until a generation of righteousness shall arise, and wrongdoing shall be destroyed, and sin shall depart from the earth, and everything good shall come upon it. And now go, and now, my son, go and make known to your son Lamech that this child that has been born is truly a son, and this is no lie. And when Methuselah had heard the words of his father Enoch, for he showed him everything which is secret, he turned, having seen him, and called the name of that child Noah, for he will comfort the earth after all the destruction. Okay, so this continues on. Let me see, man, because it's a part left out here. Let me see. He told him something else. So they left. Oh, my goodness. They left out that part. Let me read it from my hard copy. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to read this from my hard copy real quick. So give me a second. All right, so this is what it says. So I read this part. All right. Let me see. I gotta find it. So this is 107. Let me see. So this is the part that they left out. Let me find it again. I just had it too. Let me see. So that's the end. I just had. I was just reading in my book too. I don't know where it went. What happened? Let me see. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to find this. So they put this part. Let me see, man. I wish they would have had this more in order on the what's his name. So let me see here. See, now I can't even find it. I was just looking at it in my book. Now I can't even find it. Let me try and find it, man. Let me just do a quick search real quick. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it because I just was reading it. I just grabbed my book and I went right to it, and now I can't even find it. Okay, let's see here. Concluding section of Enoch. Let me see. Let me see. All right, so let me see. I think I know exactly where it is. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Just bear with me real quick. What is this? X. X. Now, I'm terrible with Roman numerals. All right, so it's in 98. Let me see. All right, I'm sorry, y'all. Let me see. Let me pull this back up. It's in 98. I found it. So let me find this again. Go to 98. All right. This is in that part that I went past. I probably already scrolled past it the first time and didn't even notice it. All right, so 98. And this is what we see happening today. That's what I wanted to read before I got out of here. And I'm already 12 minutes late. Oh, well. I don't even think I'm going to get any orders today, but let me see. 98. 1. All the way down, all the way back down. 98, 98. Hopefully it's actually what I'm looking at in my book. So I had to look this up. Sorry about that. All right, let me just share this screen real quick. So when I do find it, I don't gotta do all that. All right. 98. Let's get to 98. Excuse me. Is that up here? That's 89. I'm looking for 98. Just give me a second. Bear with me real quick. 98. And it is in the part where I was. So let me see. See, it's 93, and then it go right back down to 91. So I'm just gonna have to find it, but I'm almost there. 98. 97. Okay, here it is. Right here. So this is in the part where I was reading about the last day. So it says here, this is what we're currently this is what we're currently seeing happening today. I'm just going to read a little bit of this. So it says right here, 98.1. I'm going to start there and I'm going to read down. I'm going to finish throughout 98. Let me see, 98. How many is that? We're going to go to 98. Yes. All right, 98, 1 to 15. This is basically all the stuff that we're seeing. And this is what I was trying to cover. It's still in the same part underneath that chart there. But it says, now I swear to you, the wise and the foolish that you will see many things on the earth. This is still alluding to the last day prophecies that Enoch was talking about. For your men will put on yourselves more adornments than a woman, and more colored garments than a girl, clothed in sovereignty and in majesty and in power, and silver and gold, purple and honors, and food will be poured out like water. Gee, it just kind of sounds like what they're currently doing right now, down to the to the men putting on more adornments than a girl, and food being poured out like water, like the current food crisis. We're talking about how they're paying the farmers to burn crops and kill their cattle, right? But again, that's why I said this stuff right here is in 98 is what we're currently seeing happening today. And then it says here, because of this, they will have neither knowledge nor wisdom, and through this they will be destroyed together with their possessions and with all their glory and their honor, and in shame and in slaughter and in great destruction, their spirits will be thrown into the fiery furnace. Talk about more of the judgment phase. I swear to you, you sinners, that as a mountain has not and will not become a slave, nor a hill a woman's maid, so sin was not sent on the earth, but man of himself created it. And those who commit it will be subject to a great curse, and barrenness has not been given to a woman but because of the deeds of her hand, she dies without children. And it says, I swear to you sinners by the holy and great one, that all your evil deeds are revealed in heaven, that your wrongdoing is not covered or hidden. And this is what it talks about in the Bible. That part that I just read, let me just bring this up because I'm already late anyway. By the time I go out here, it's going to be 12 o'clock. So I'm not really too bothered by it, but it's right here. Yeah. All right. Let me bring this up. So it's in Jeremiah 23. Let me get that. Stop sharing this. Share this. So this is what it says in Jeremiah. It's the same thing that Enoch's talking about. It says right here in Jeremiah 23, 23 and 24. Says here, am I a God at hand, saith the Lord, and not a God afar off? Can any hide himself in secret places that I shall not see him, saith the Lord? Do not I fill heaven and earth, saith the Lord? Where is that? Yeah, basically that. Let me bring this back up real quick. I'm going to end this real quick so I can get out here and see if I get any deliveries today. So it basically says your wrongdoing is not covered nor hidden. That's what it talks about in Jeremiah. Do not think in your spirit nor say in your heart that you do not know or do not see. Every sin is written down every day in heaven in front of the Most High. From now on, you know that all your wrongdoing that you do will be written down every day until the day of your judgment. And it talks about here, woe to you, you fools, for you will be destroyed through your folly. Let's talk about Proverbs. And you do not listen to the wise, and good will not come upon you. And now you know that you're ready for the day of destruction, and do not hope that you will live, you sinners. Rather you will go and die, for you know no ransom. You are ready for the day of the great judgment, for the day of distress. Let's talk about basically the great tribulation and great shame for your spirits. And it's talk about again, alluding to Daniel 12. Then it says here, woe to you, you stubborn of heart, who do evil and eat blood. From where do you have good things to eat and drink and to be satisfied? Just think about this real quick. I'm not going to say too much about it, but just think about what the elites do, right? Those higher up people who everybody says is, well, I'm going to leave that alone. I don't want to get my channel shut down. But anyway, from all the good things which our Lord the Most High has placed in abundance on the earth, therefore you will not have peace. And again, you're not going to understand that part until you go into Leviticus 11 and Deuteronomy 14. Again, I'm just saying. Woe to you who love deeds of iniquity. Why do you hope good for yourselves? Know that you will be given into the hands of the righteous, and they will cut your throats and kill you and will not have mercy on you. That's talking about some judgment. And I believe that is mentioned in the Bible, but I would have to find it. Says here, woe to you who rejoice in the distress of the righteous, for graves will not be dug for you. That again is alluded to in Ezekiel. Woe to you who declare the words of the righteous empty for you. Oh, wait, let me read that again. Woe to you who declare the words of the righteous empty for you. Empty, for you will have no hope of life. Woe to you who write down lying words and the words of the impious, for they write their lies so that men may hear and continue their folly, and they will not have peace, but will die a sudden death. Stuff has happened. I can give a few examples, but I'm not. Woe to you who do impious deeds and praise and honor lying words. You will be destroyed and will not have a good life. Woe to you who alter the words of truth, and they that distort the eternal law and count themselves as being without sin. Oops. Where Perry at? Where Perry at? Somebody get Perry in here. I'm gonna read this again because you guys might want to go and share this with Perry. Right? Woe to you who alter the words of truth, and they distort eternal law and count themselves as being without sin. They will be trampled underfoot on the ground. Talks about Malachi. I think that's Malachi or Micah, where it says, let me see. Let me bring it up. I think it's Micah or Malachi, one of those, that's trampling under the foot on the earth. Let me see. Let's see. Is it Malachi 4 or is it Micah 4? I believe it's one of those. It's Malachi 4. Let's do this real quick. Stop sharing that. Who is Perry again? I don't know. It's that sinless perfectionist guy. I don't know. I've heard of him before, but I don't know who he is. Anyway, let's go into this real quick. I'm gonna try and wrap this up real quick. So, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts. it shall leave them neither root nor branch. This is what Enoch is talking about also. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves in the stall. And ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, saith the Lord. So this is talking about what Enoch just mentioned here. Let me bring this back up. Because again, there's many verses, and some of them I would have to find. So right here, woe to you who alter the words of truth, and they distort the eternal law and count themselves as being without sin. They will be trampled underfoot on the ground. In those days, make ready, ye righteous, to raise your prayers as a reminder, and lay them as a testimony before the angels, that they may lay the sin of the sinners before the Most High as a reminder. In those days, the nations will be thrown into confusion, and the races of the nations will rise on the day of destruction. This is also talked about in Esdras here. Let me see here. No, I'm not gonna go there. Talks about. Let me see. Is that Esdras 5? I'm gonna bring it up real quick because, again, these are books. Let me see, because in Ezra 5 it says signs of the end, right? I'm gonna read a little bit of this because, again, this is all talking about the end, the last days. So even Ezra says this. Everybody should know this. Let's see. We got Enoch. It says right here, and Enoch says that the races are thrown into confusion. This is what it says right here. Signs of the end. Now, signs, behold, the days are coming when those who dwell on earth shall be seized with great terror, and the way of truth shall be hidden, which is basically going on, and the land shall be barren of faith, and unrighteousness shall be increased beyond what ye yourselves see. This is what Enoch was saying when he was talking to, when I just read 98 in Enoch. And unrighteousness shall increase beyond what you yourselves see, and beyond what you have heard formerly. That's what Enoch was talking about. And the land which you now see ruling shall be waste and untrodden, and men shall see it desolate. But if the Most High grants that you live, you shall see it thrown into confusion after the third period. Let's go back to Enoch. Let's go right back to Enoch. Stop sharing this. Go back to Enoch. Right. So, right here. In those days, the nations will be thrown into confusion, and the races of the nations will rise on the day of destruction. And in those days, those who are in need will go out, seize their children, and cast out their children. It also says this in the Bible and in Ezra. And their offspring will slip from them, and they will cast out their children while they are still sucklings. This kind of sounds like that A word that YouTube don't want nobody talking about, and it ties in with some clinics. Let's just say that. And they will not return to them, and they will not have mercy on their beloved ones. And again, I swear to you, the sinners, that sin is ready for the day of unceasing bloodshed. And that is mentioned in the Bible where it says in Revelation when people don't, there's too much back and forth. Because this also is mentioned in Revelation 2. And they that worship stone and some carved images of gold and of silver and of wood and of clay, mentioned in the Bible, basically in the law where it says don't worship this stuff. And some with no knowledge worship unclean spirits and demons and every kind of error, but no help will be obtained from them. And they will sink into impiety because of the folly of their hearts, and their eyes will be blinded through the fear of their hearts and through the vision of their ambitions. Through these they will become impious and fearful, for they do all their deeds with lies and worship stones, and they will be destroyed at the same moment. And in those days, blessed are those who accept the words of wisdom and understand them and follow the paths of the Most High and walk in paths of righteousness and do not act impiously with the impious, for they will be saved. So people say there, so people say, you're not supposed to, keep certain things, but yeah. Woe to you who extend evil to your neighbor, for they will be killed in Sheol. So this also ties in with the Bible where it says, don't repay evil with evil. Also talks about basically love your neighbor as yourself, right? But again, Leviticus 19:18, Christ, the two great commandments, right? But anyway, woe to you who lay foundations of sin and deceit and who cause bitterness on the earth. For because of this sin, end will be made of them. And end will be made, because of this, an end will be made of them. This is the parable, I believe Christ spoke about it, that the house being built on sand and the house that's built on a rock, right? Woe to you who build your houses with the toil of others, and all their building materials are the sticks and stones of sin. I say to you, you will not have peace. Woe to those who reject the measure and the eternal inheritance of their fathers, and cause their souls to follow error, for they will not have rest. Woe to those who commit iniquity and help wrong and kill their neighbors until the day of the great judgment, for he will throw down your glory and you put evil in your hearts and rouse the spirit of his anger, so that he may destroy you all with the sword, and all the righteous and the holy will remember your sin. In those days, in one place, fathers and sons will strike one another, and brothers will together fall in death until their blood flows as it were a stream. And this talks about what Christ said, right? When he said what he said concerning the last days, he said, think not. Let me bring that up. Let's bring this up. I probably might be on here for a little while. I'm sorry, guys. Let's bring this up. It's in Matthew 10. Matthew 10. All right, let's stop sharing this. Bring this up. So this is what Christ was talking about as well. That part in Enoch is what Christ mentioned out of his own mouth himself. Matthew 10. So it gets into all that. But this is where what it's talking about here in Enoch. Think not I'm come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against mother-in-law. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. What Enoch is what Enoch talked about as well, where I just read. Let's bring that back up. So I'm just showing how the book of Enoch is basically saying the same thing we see in our scriptures, but people will say, oh, you don't need this book. You can just get it out the Bible. No, you can get it out of here too. And then for people that say Enoch's not inspired, then why is Enoch talking about the same things that's in the Bible? And why does Jude quote Enoch word for word? Not word for word, but basically quote exactly what Enoch says. So right here, 100 verse 1. In those days, in one place, fathers and sons will strike one another, and brothers will together fall in death until their blood flows as it were a stream. For a man will not in mercy withhold his hand from his sons, nor from his son's sons, in order to kill them. And the sinner will not withhold his hand from his honored brother from dawn until sunset. They will kill one another. And the horse will walk up in it. Here we go. Here's that other one. I think this is mentioned in Enoch, right? Not Enoch, in Ezekiel. Let me bring this up too. Because again, let me see. I'm gonna end it after this. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I know I said I was gonna end it 30 minutes ago, but I'll end it after this. I was trying to keep it at an hour, but I'll go for 15 minutes. All right, so here it is in Revelation 14. Read a couple of this. All right. So I'm just going back and forth and doing this comparison so people could actually see ain't nothing different being said here. And I think it's very important that people can compare what the Bible says to most of these other texts to see whether they are true or not. Because if they aren't true, then they should be saying something totally different. Totally different. Let me see here. Here's the patience of faith of saints. All right, so this talks about the verse in Enoch here. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. So this is how Christ's coming back. Not coming back with roses and chocolate and saying, oh, I love you, with open arms. And another came out of the temple, and another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the harvest, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the altar which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had this sharp sickle, saying, thrust in thy sharp sickle and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth and gathered the vine of the earth and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horses' bridles, by the space of 1,006 furlongs. So this is where we're reading the same thing in Enoch right here. Bring this back up. Talks about it. So that cluster of grapes was basically the blood of the sinners right here. And the horses will walk up to its chest in the blood of sinners, and the chariots will sink up to its height. And in those days, the angels will come down into the hidden places and gather together in one place all those who have helped sin, and the Most High will rise on that day to execute the great judgment on all the sinners. So I know I carried this out a little bit too long. But anyway, I just wanted to do that because people asked me to go in here and cover this last days in the book of Enoch. Same stuff we see in the Bible, just scattered all over the place, and probably a little bit more detail than what we originally see in the Bible, and matching it with the scriptures that are referenced. So yeah. So everybody take care and enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be back in the Discord. I probably might just go out here for a few hours, see if I can get me some deliveries. If not, I'm gonna come back. So shalom, everybody. Have a blessed day.